Hey everyone, I'm doing my video to talk about, oh, it's back to front. um, it's the Just Breathe book, written by Dan Brule, who is known as the Bruce Lee of breathwork. He's studied with, a lot of the greats, many of whom have passed on. So he's kind of the light bearer for breath work. And he defines this book as the ultimate key to your well-being. And it is, the foreword is written by Tony Robbins, who really seems to have a connection with Dan, and certainly has some really wow things to say about him. So I'm new to breath work, and this is the first book that I've read by Dan Brule and about breath work. But I loved it. I really loved it. I found it an easy read. So many interesting breath techniques, so much information that, it's going to take me a few reads to really embed all the learning from this book. But I've actually watched a few videos and listened to a few podcasts from Dan, and he seems like a really down-to-earth guy who's, been affected by breath right throughout his life. He talks about his first kind of memory of how powerful the breath is, from when he was at school. I think he was about 5, and he was told that that God breathes life into the nostrils of everyone, and yeah, he was so excited. That was a real revelation at such a tender age. And he talks about his journey with breath throughout his life. It's taken him into many different careers, and yeah, it's just incredible how it is kind of tracked alongside his life. And he talks about some of his experiences in the military, and I guess, through those experiences, he'll have seen some pretty traumatic sights, and I think breath work, that introduction of rebirthing after he came out of the military, really was his moment of realization that all of his own trauma and pain, he felt, just melted away. He talks about heart rate variability, which is something I've been aware of in my life, and I never really knew much about it, but it was interesting to get some more insight on that, and how the breath supports heart rate variability, and how that supports dealing with stress and being more resilient. And yeah, so I found that really interesting. I loved the different breaths, so many breaths. One that really sticks out to me, because I really did laugh doing this, and I'm laughing now. It's the yawn, and I think he calls it advanced yawning, which I found quite amusing. So it's triggering a yawn and actually doing the breath whilst you're in the middle of yawning. So will I demonstrate that? Yeah, okay, I'll demonstrate it. Mightn't look too pretty, but anyway, you yawn and open your mouth as wide as you can, and you're going to breathe through that yawn. So I'll just demonstrate. Not very attractive, but it actually really makes me feel good. And I've been doing that over this last week. I don't know whether, a lot of it's got to do with, the absurdity of me doing it, because it does feel a bit like that initially. But yeah, I really, really enjoy it. He talks about the breath count, kind of, or the breath over a minute, and between 5 and 6 breaths a minute is something that is optimum for our well-being. And I bought myself an app on my phone that actually helps support me to keep in that rhythm of the 6 breaths a minute, and it was really helpful. So I do that every day. I feel really calm when I do that, and it's also a really good reminder for me, and getting into that routine of doing some breaths every day, conscious breaths. I do want to touch on the conscious connected breath. So that's breathing in through the mouth and out through the mouth. And there is something in me that doesn't feel connected to that conscious connected breath. There's something that is holding me back from diving in fully to that. And I've always been a big advocate of, my own intuition. So I'm kind of pulling back on that. And I feel okay with that, but it's something that he is very passionate about, and talks about the benefits of that. It's quite aggressive in the explanation of it on a few podcasts and YouTube videos. I've heard him talking about it, just going in there and grabbing whatever is in there and breathing through it, bringing it to the surface and moving it through. And maybe I'm not ready to do that just yet. But I would highly recommend the book. I like his writing style. It's very easy. There's so much information in there. And this, like I said, is just the start of my journey with breathwork. And I was surprised at some of the breath exercises that I kind of feel I've been doing intuitively for most of my life. So yeah, that was interesting. And yeah, if you're interested in breath work, and you want to kind of get an overall understanding of what you can gain from breath work, then I would recommend Dan Brule's book. Yeah, really good read, and I loved it. And I will be reading it several more times in my life, I'm sure. And it's a good, you know, it's a good book to keep referring back to. So yeah, definitely a book to recommend for those who are interested in breathwork. So thank you for that. Take care.